This video is a sample from the Secret Guitar Teacher Interactive course, The 5 Main Elements of Music. The 5 main elements of music. Element number 2, scales. Section 2.1, learning the minor blues scales. Part 1, standard tuning and the tuning anomaly. Ever wondered why the guitar is tuned EADGBE in standard tuning? What exactly is standard about standard tuning? Are there other tunings that might make playing guitar easier or better sounding? To answer the last question first, yes, there are better tunings that are easier or sound better, but only for narrowly defined areas of music. Let's have a closer look at the subject of alternative tunings. So-called open tunings, of which there are many variations, normally make major chords much easier to play. If I take the G chord, for example, we can see that the G major chord comprises the notes G, so I've got E, F, F sharp, G, B, A sharp, B, open D, open G, open B, and then another G on the top string there. So we've got G, B, D, G, B, G. Really just 3 different notes, G, B and D. So even without any music theory knowledge, we can know that the 3 notes that make up the G chord are G, B and D. We can then use that knowledge to create our own open G chord tuning. Now, my advice, if you try this yourself, is to, wherever possible, lower the strings rather than raise them, as this removes the risk of breaking a string by over tightening it. So let's have a look at how this works. If we play the E string, obviously E isn't in our chord of G, so we need to take that down to a D. So I drop that down, pretty much tuning that to the open D string here. Now the next string is A, and so it makes sense to take that down to G. And again, I can use the open G string as a guide. The next string is already a D, and that is one of the notes in our chord, so I'll just leave that as it is. Same with the next string, obviously that's already a G, and the next one, that's already a B, so I don't need to alter any of those 3. Top string, again, that's an E, so that just comes down to a D, and I've already got these other 2 Ds here now. Now I've got a lovely G major chord without laying a finger on the guitar at this end. And what is great about this tuning is that I can play any major chord just by barring straight across all 6 strings. And this is one of the reasons why this particular tuning is very popular with slide guitar players. So that's great for slide players, and also for anyone who wants to play a song that has nothing but major chords in it. Some good examples are Hey Joe, or Bob Dylan's I'll Be Your Baby Tonight. And it's also a good tuning to use for sort of improvised country folk style of playing, perhaps reminiscent of the great Irish guitarist Rory Gallagher. Great for harmonics too. But the point is that these are all rather specialised sounds that lean heavily on the tonality of the major chord. As soon as we want to play a minor chord, we run into difficulties really. One possibility is this movable shape here on 4 strings, just on the middle 4 strings. And 7th chords likewise, really awkward. I've got a bar right across those middle 4 strings and then add that note at the 5th fret there. So really there are very few fingering options for chords other than the major chord that are all that viable. They're awkward to finger and really lacking in versatility. And this is the point. There are many great tunings that are good for very specific types of sound and styles of play. But standard tuning has evolved over centuries as the best compromise. It has proven to be the tuning that allows easy access to the widest variety of chord types and scales. I would encourage you to make your own experiments with different tunings. It's a fun thing to do and can only help expand your musical knowledge and ability. But for the rest of this course, we will be assuming standard tuning. So, standard tuning has real benefits when it comes to practicality and versatility. But there is one particular feature of standard tuning that plagues the unwary guitar student in all sorts of hidden ways, unless it is fully understood. I call this the tuning anomaly. Back in prehistoric times, before the invention of tuning devices like these, we had to resort to tuning by ear, using a system that went something like this. So first we tune the E string to like an outside reference, maybe a harmonica. And then we'd play the E string at fret 5 to get the note A, to be able to tune the A string to that. And then we play the A string at fret 5 to get the note D. Tune the D string to that. Then the D string at fret 5 to get the note G. And then the G string, this is where the pattern gets broken. The G string we tune at fret 4 to get the note B. Tune the B string too, and then the B string will be back to fret 5 to get an E, to tune the E string too. So we say the guitar in standard tuning is tuned in intervals of a fourth, except between the G string and the B string, that's the third and the second string, where the interval is reduced down to a third. In effect, the odd interval of a third between the G and B strings produces a kind of fault line. And this affects almost every chord shape and scale pattern we make on the fretboard. If we look at how chord shapes and scale patterns appear on a guitar tuned all in fourths, that would be E, A, D, G, C, F, we can make a comparison. I think it's fair to say that the tuning anomaly mostly helps us play chords more easily, which is why it was introduced, but arguably makes scale and arpeggio patterns a little more complex to learn. As we progress through this course, we will be referring to the effects of the tuning anomaly many times, and we'll show you a number of ways that you can benefit from its advantages, as well as ways to overcome the problems it causes us. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you'd really like to maximize your potential as a guitar player, click on the link in the description below to the Secret Guitar Teacher site. Here you can sign up for a 30-day trial free of charge and without obligation. We won't even ask you for your credit card number.